Hey everybody, hey everybody. Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. We're on. So hello. I keep I keep wanting to play my theme song, and every Sunday, every single Sunday, I forget. And so this Sunday, I vowed that I was going to get it done because I think it was done as a nice job, and so I love that song. But in any case, hey everyone, hello everyone. So thank you for joining us on LinkedIn and on Facebook. We are getting ready to do Facebook Live and LinkedIn Live. And if you're here, go ahead and put your name and what city and state you're from. Today, we're going to talk about wellness. It's mental wellness check-in. And how we got to here, I was talking to one of my friends up in Connecticut earlier last week, and she was telling me that her workload is like going up because people are stressed out, people are becoming hopeless. They're trying to figure out all the uncertainties. Nobody knows where we're headed, nobody knows where we're going, nobody knows where we're at. Like things are constantly changing, and then quarantine and loss of job and the coronavirus and Black Lives Matter and all these things are going on right now. So a lot of people are feeling that. And so people who are in the behavioral health field, they're feeling it because now they're getting more clients and people are coming in with real issues. And so when we were talking, I told her, I said, well, and I said, well, what can I do to help? And she said, the one thing you can do to help is to help people learn how to cope with the uncertainty and the hopelessness. And I was like, okay, so I can do those two things. So let me see who I can contact. And I always my go-to who is has been on TV. She's a local person and she's always on TV helping them solve some problems about healthy mental health. And so I asked her if she would come and talk to my audience, and she gave me a yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let her introduce herself, but I'd like to introduce you to Miss April Taylor, who is the executive director of Sound Living Counseling Center, the Sound Living Counseling Center, if I get that right. And so, April, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Miss Linda. I appreciate you having me and giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. Well, I'm April Taylor. I like to start with married, sold out to Jesus, all that on the front end, married 32 years. So I don't like to leave that out.
Yay, that's good
Three,
stuff. That's good stuff.
three kids, two grandkids. We've been doing Sound Living. This is our 10th year. So
Oh,
we started Sound Living ourselves from scratch. There was nothing like it. We just started what we thought we needed in the community. And basically what we do at Sound Living, we are a facility that trains the trainer. And most people don't
okay.
even know this, but we have people that come in. For us to work, we have to have 3,000 hours to get our license. Well, there's no
Okay.
place to get that. So we started a place where you can come in and get your license. So that's the first thing we do. And we supervise the interns too. So interns have to have so many hours before they graduate from school. So we do that as well. So I'm a licensed supervisor, and I spend a lot of time training and supervising just because I want to have great counselors. I don't want to be just the counselor. I want to have a whole team of great counselors.
Absolutely.
So right now we have 5 of us and 4 interns, 3 interns, 5 and 3 interns. Um, and we serve everybody from women. I started with women, adolescents, families, marital, and premarital. We've
Okay.
grown to we have a couple of counselors that do men. We
Okay.
have a couple of counselors that do women and teenagers, and they do young women and teenagers and children. So now we
Uh-huh.
cover the whole family. I still do
Okay.
a lot of family work. I have a co-counselor, Brad, who does the couples work with me. So we still do that as well. So he's done that with me for now almost 10 years. And we'll celebrate our 10th anniversary this year.
That is, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, because the work that you do is needed in our communities. Because, people go to the doctor to make sure they're healthy. They get a health exam, right? An annual exam. But very few people think about going to the doctor for our mental state. Like, and that controls everything, right? Even the health, even the physical health, the
Absolutely.
mental state controls everything. And so that's why I entitled this the mental wellness check-in, because we don't go checking in on our mental health. We think there's something, it has some stigma. And so first of all, we want to relieve that. And it's not a bad thing to have a mental check-in, right? And it actually helps us to be more functional and helps us to show up fuller in our daily lives when we're mentally able to check in, right? So tell us about, how did you become to do this?
So the original call, and I call it a calling, came from our marriage. Our marriage was kind of messed up. I was off track, therefore the marriage was off track, and it was really, really way off track. And so when we got off track, I'm like, oh, that's great. Then I could just help other women do that. So that's what I went to school for, is to help women get on track in marriage.
Ah,
Ah, little did I know, during that same season, I had my own battle with mental health, and God reminded me, now you can help them with marriage if you want to, but you can also help them with their mental health.
yeah,
So that's why I do the two things kind of hand in hand. Because I had my own battle. I suffered almost suicidal. I mean, I was suicidal. It was a mess. God is good. He cured that
amen,
miraculously like he did everything else. But
amen.
so then I came to do what I do now. So that's why it's a combination. We do a lot of mental health work, and we do a lot of relationship work. And they also go hand in hand, like they did for me. When my marriage was off track, my mental health was off track.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times when our relationships aren't right, we suffer. And so I
Absolutely.
try, and once we help get some of those things on track, they help with the mental health as well. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. 'Cause we're a whole person, and
Right.
that's dealing with the whole body, right? And
Exactly.
so I think that's wonderful, because I mean, when I talked to her, my friend, and she was like, Linda, people are really struggling right now. Like, they're struggling because they have real issues. You have people that are getting laid off, and they're trying to figure out, if we get shut down, because you hear all on the news about people getting shut down. What if we go into a second shutdown of the country? And then people who are today in okay state financially or whatever, they're worried about, what about our kids going back to school? Like,
Right.
we don't want our kids to get sick. What about, will I have a job? Will this close my company? Because a lot of companies close during this time period, since March. And so people don't have valid reasons to worry, but there's coping skills out there, right? There's help for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's help for us. And so taking your life experience and then using it now to be on TV, to be talking about how to get through certain things and behavior issues and mental states and all of that. And then you have some things to help us cope.
I
You
do.
came prepared. Yeah, you came prepared. And I like that. So I would like to slowly go through them. And I want, if you're watching on Facebook or on LinkedIn, go ahead and get you a pen and paper, because we want you to make notes. We want you to take notes of this, because this whole thing came about because my friend said, Linda, if you're going to help them, this is how you can help people. And I want to help anyone that's needing help, anyone that's looking for solutions. because that's what this whole session about today. It's about finding solutions. It's about a mental wellness check-in. And it's you checking in with yourself, but if you need a professional, then please do that in your area. So tell us about the first one that you have for us.
So the first thing I really wanted to talk about is dealing is first I put this on the top, seeking professional help. It is
Mm,
okay. It's okay to go talk to somebody. You can talk because some people don't know where to start. Talk to your doctor. Your local PCP will know who your counselors are in your area. So we work hand in hand. I work with all my PCPs. They know who I am. They send to me. I send to them. When I see somebody and they need some help, I send them back to the PCP. So we work hand in hand. Yes,
absolutely.
that's primary care physician, just so I can, because we use a lot of acronyms, so I'll make sure I break that down. So you go to your regular doctor or your OBGYN. If you're a female, our OBGYNs can help us with that as well, because they know, again, who the local counselors are. So
Absolutely.
first that.
Seek
You
help.
can go to your pastors. And if you got a good counselor, they're working and partnering with the pastors in the community. The pastors know who we are and we know who they are. And so
Mm,
the pastors have a lay counseling role. Some of them are professional counselors. They've gone and got professional training as well. But sometimes they know where their limits are. And when they reach their limits, they know how to call us. So
absolutely.
again, you can start there and then they'll know who to call.
And
And then
I
go ahead.
love that you said so this is to give people the okay that it's all right to love Jesus and still get counseling.
Yes, absolutely. And I have a group called Break the Stigma, because there's a huge stigma. We think we know Jesus, we love Jesus. Even myself, I have so much going on with myself. I'm like, I know I'm gonna be fine because I got Jesus. Guess what? Girlfriend struggle. I struggled and surprised myself with my struggle. So just because we have Jesus don't mean we won't struggle. And it's
Absolutely.
okay. It's okay to struggle.
Absolutely.
So I start with seek help. Call you if you know a counselor, call your counselor. Even if they're your friend and you don't want to go to them, because that's my problem sometimes. People can't come to me because they're my friends. I know the other counselors. We can refer to each other. I have a team of counselors. So you may not come to me, but you may come to my teammate. So just get help. Don't let the fact that you know the counselor stop you from getting help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the first thing to write down is seek professional help. Like either whether it's in your church or whether it's in ask your doctor, ask your doctor, ask someone you trust. Just find an outlet to find professional help because it gets heavy out here. I mean, there's a lot going on. And so
And
people really need to understand that it's okay. That it doesn't make it anything wrong with you. It doesn't make anything bad about you to go and seek mental counseling.
right. So
What's
the
number two? Oh,
no,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I was going to say the reason I started with seek professional help is because sometimes we don't think about it and we think we don't know that we need help or we don't know that it's okay. And even with counseling, there is so much hope available with what we do, first of all. And
Mm,
second of all, there's help available. Like we literally have a lot of things we can do to help you. So we're going to talk about some of those things. So you want the second one, right?
uh-huh.
Allow yourself time to grieve. There has
Oh,
been a lot of loss during this pandemic. And
oh,
we're
girl.
talking about physical loss, like we've lost relatives and people we know and love. But we've also seen friends lose relatives. Then we've lost church members. So that's just people. But what about you've lost a job? You started with all the things going on. You've lost a job. You've lost safety and security. You don't feel safe sending your kids out. You don't feel safe doing certain things. So you've lost some of those things.
Mm,
Um, I said job, a relationship. Sometimes we lose relationships, so we have to grieve all those things, and all of those things feel just like a death sometimes.
absolutely.
And so when you're processing those losses, it's very important to just do just that, to take the time to grieve. And it's okay to grieve. And however you grieve, it's okay. It doesn't have to be in stages. It doesn't have to be, a lot of people talk about the stages of grief. They're there and they're valid, but I think of grief as a roller coaster. It can be all over the place. And how you feel, you may feel this way today and that way tomorrow. And all of it is okay.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the thing is because we're all, we're products of our environments, right? And so how we look at life, period. We're all individuals in how we approach things. But the major thing is to recognize it for what it is and say, okay, that's what this must be. Or go talk to somebody who can help you find clarity. I have a friend, Herdine Mercer, who does grief counseling for
Hmm.
people. And she tells you, however you deal with it, whatever you deal with, it's okay. You're processing what just like you said, all those loss and all those um, job loss or friend loss. You look on the TV. I cried the other day when I found out a 9-year old had died of COVID that had no symptoms.
And
That
it's so
touched my
sad.
heart.
It's
You
sad.
know, yeah, because we're human, right? And so that touched my heart, and I cried for that little girl. I don't know her, but that was just sad to me because I remember where I was at 9. My whole life changed at 9 years old, and so just understanding and just being okay with processing what's going on around you, what's going on with you.
Right.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the next thing I talk about is dealing with your emotions. We talked about emotions can be all over the place. Well, and a lot of times people try to shut down our emotions because we're angry or because we're sad or because we're depressed or because we're lonely or tired or whatever we feel. It is okay. It's okay to feel however you feel. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself time and space to feel. Allow yourself um, just the ability to say, you know what, it's okay to be wherever you are. Um, if you if you feel upset, people, well, no, you can't be upset or you can't be, no, it's okay. And I tell people to process that emotion, to write it down. To some people, I recommend journaling. That's one of my coping skills. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I recommend journaling a lot. And
Hmm.
with that journaling, it allows you to process. But some people don't like to journal. So maybe they sing, they write, they dance. You could do lots of ways to get that emotion out of your body.
Absolutely. And going back and trying to find out where that comes from if you're acting out of character too, right? Because sometimes, we get angry and it's not really we're angry at who we're talking to. It's we something that we've internalized blows up and it makes us do what we do that's not really who we are.
Right.
But just understanding ourselves. So I like that journaling because journaling will allow you to go back and look, okay, how did I get to there? So that's good. I like that. I like
And,
that.
so, and when you journal, the nice thing about journaling, like I said, we're going to talk about a little more, is that you get it out. So a lot of times, if you want to express, people come to me and they express themselves. They feel better after one session because they got to say what it is they wanted to say. And so we
Yeah,
help them and give them that space to say what they need to say. Well, journaling allows you to do that. You can
absolutely.
sit down and write down whatever it is that you're working on.
Absolutely. Because sometimes all you need is somebody to say, you're not crazy. You went through something. Like it
Absolutely.
affected you. And so you're acting out or you're doing something because it affected you. And a lot of times we try to push those feelings down. We don't want to feel like, oh, we're tough, we're okay. Our main thing, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. We say that even when we're not okay. And so it's checking in with yourself. And journaling is a perfect way to check in with yourself to see if you really are okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And what's your next one?
The next one is practice forgiveness.
Hmm.
If you really want to be free and you want to be set free, I say free, free for free, free. Just really free.
Really free.
Start to forgive somebody.
Yeah.
You forget, that people, that may be something from your childhood. Maybe there's childhood trauma that you dealt with.
Hmm.
Maybe there's somebody who you feel like should have looked out for you and they didn't.
Hmm.
Maybe it's somebody who picked on you as a kid. Maybe it's somebody you picked on and you did something to, and you need to ask for forgiveness. Maybe you're mad at God because of COVID or because of something that happened. You got to start forgiving. And when you start forgiving and truly forgive, then you can be released and you can be free. And not only will you be free, you'll set them free, but you'll be free. And then when you're free, you're free to set others free, which is so
Absolutely.
cool.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is learning how to truly forgive, not for them, because it's not for them, it's
Right,
for you. And
right,
so you have to be okay. You have to get to a space where, I forgive the people who hurt me. I forgive the people who did whatever. And you have to pick up from there. And that's being responsible. The other side of that is asking for forgiveness, right? Because we've done some things too. And then
right.
asking, be okay to ask people for forgiveness and not only just ask them for it, but don't say, well, if I hate people that say, if I did something to you, then I'm sorry. Because that's not asking for forgiveness. And that's not saying that's no, don't say if. You know what you did. Say what you did. go ahead and say, I apologize to you because I hurt your feelings, and your feelings are valid, and I will try not to do that again, or I will put this in place so that that doesn't happen again. Because the whole part of asking for forgiveness is three parts, right? Is telling people what you did,
Right.
asking for forgiveness, and then not doing it again.
Exactly. Exactly.
So making them back whole, making people back whole, not just saying, "Well, I'm sorry," and then that be it. No, that's not it. You're not. That's just one third of it. You're not doing it right. You need to do it right. You need to practice how to forgive and to be forgiving of other people. So that's what needs to happen. You're asking people for their forgiveness as well.
Absolutely. And it's so I love the Harriet Tubman movie that came out earlier this year, and she was free, and she was free to set other people free. And
Absolutely.
so that's how I see myself, Miss Linda.
I
I'm
heard you.
free, and because I'm free, I'm here to help other people be set free.
Absolutely.
Mentally, spiritually, all kind of ways.
Exactly, because it's a different life when you let go of all those weights. Because a lot of us carry weights for years. I mean, we our baggage is almost full, and so we are lugging around everywhere we go. We have a lot of baggage, and when we have a lot of baggage, that's really what's burdening us down. That's really what's making us feel like we're weighted down and that we're not able to fly freely. So I love that. That's really good. So what's your next one?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna get it for you. Um, so then I want to talk about just coping skills in general. Um,
Okay.
and so some of the coping skills, and I call this next one self care. Just plain
Okay.
old self care. And I know we were going to talk about what I do for self care. Some people call me the queen of self care because I really, when I went to get in my master's program, because I was a little older when I went to school,
Hmm.
one of the things I heard is if you're going to be able to take care of others, you have to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
And I caught it, Miss Linda. I caught it. I'm going to have to take care of me to take care of somebody else.
Yeah.
Because what I do, it weighs on me. I feel that. And so if I don't do stuff for me, I can't take care of you. Or I
Mm,
can't pour for an empty cup. And if
mm,
we're spiritual, because sometimes, as Christians, we think we have to take care of everybody else and not ourselves. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself.
as yourself. And
Oh,
that
you're
that right
supposed to be
there.
loving us.
Yeah, that right there. That is the thing that people talk about. I believe a lot of times why we have problems loving other people is we haven't learned to love ourselves. We think that's selfish or self-centered or something wrong. But in the Bible, that's the second commandment, right? He gave us the two, right?
Right.
Love him and only him. And then the second one was love your neighbor as yourself. But if you don't love yourself, then how are you going to love your neighbor? That's where we struggle. And
It
so, yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I like that.
And so when I think about self-care, the largest organ in our body besides our skin is our brain.
Hmm.
And we don't talk about the brain, we don't pay attention to the brain. We just don't think about the brain.
Hmm.
So I teach people to eat to feed their brain. Like I literally eat for my brain.
Hmm.
I eat things like avocado and guacamole and salmon, a vegetarian based diet, but I eat to feed my brain. And when I do, it boosts my memory, which I've
Hmm.
been struggling with because of my own personal grief.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
but because I eat right, it's getting a better a lot faster than it probably would have.
absolutely.
It's eat so eating beans, legumes, nuts, healthy things, fruits, vegetables, things that are good for you are good for your brain. So
Yeah,
all the things they've been telling us to eat right, we're feeding our brain. How cool is that? When I think about it as feeding my brain, it makes it easier to do.
absolutely, absolutely. That's good stuff because because we learned that 75% of our immune system and everything is in our stomachs. And
Right,
so if we're not eating right, then we're not feeding the temple. Like we're
right.
not putting the temple right. And so that's good stuff too. Because we don't think about, when I'm eating, I'm actually feeding my brain. I'm actually feeding my brain. That's different. Yeah. We always think about I'm feeding my stomach.
Right. But I literally eat
Think
to feed
about the
my brain. And when I do that, like I say, I feel better. It helps my mood, Miss Linda. My mood used to oscillate all the time,
mm,
up and down.
mm,
But
mm.
it's flatline. And I'm
Yeah,
like, ah, and look, I started eating like that first, and then I read about how it helps the mood. I'm like, and it does, and it helped my mood, so I know it works.
absolutely. And plant-based diets, even if it's one day a week you go plant-based, I mean, we're finding more and more that a lot of the illnesses that we have are connected with meats.
Absolutely.
Because they put steroids in them, they do different things to the meats to make them last or whatever. But we find that when we go to a plant-based diet, generally, that we come out better. Like our body can consume it better, and it turns all that fat and things to energy. I myself doing the sea moss thing right now, so I'm I'm finding that it is helping me as far as the inflammation that you have in your body. Like we don't even think about having inflammation, but when you're on a plant-based diet, you get to see that yeah, you were kind of weighed down, didn't even know you were weighed down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that, and which leads us to our next thing, which is exercise or moving.
Yes.
People don't know that we move for our brain as well. When we
Mm.
move, it moves oxygen. It does so many things for our brain. And I read a post somewhere that said, if you don't take time for your wellness, you're going to have to take time for your illness. Stop me
Mm.
in my tracks.
Ooh,
And
that's
I'll say it
powerful.
again for the audience. If you don't take time for your wellness, you will
Ooh,
have to take time for your illness.
because the
And
body will, yeah, the body will
you're going to
take
have
over.
to when you
Yeah,
get
I
sick
mean,
or a heart attack or whatever happens, right?
yeah, yeah. That's all the more reason to check in, right? Is to make sure that you're holistically doing well. And so thinking about, our physical health and our mental health because the two are connected. Yeah.
So when we exercise, it helps with our anger. It helps with our anxiety. It helps with our depression. It helps with everything that's going. It helps with our sleep. Sleep is the number one. I didn't even put that one down. Let's talk about sleep for a minute, Miss Linda. We need 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, contiguous. And when we get there, we're going to feel better. And you might think,
Mm,
well, I want to sleep 4 or 5 hours. Okay, well, we need to get a little bit more and a little bit more till we get up to 7 to 8 hours. Because
yeah.
if we get that, and they send people to counseling now instead of giving them a sleeping pill because we can help you with your sleep.
Mm.
And so you get your sleep better, then that's going to reduce the anxiety. That's going to reduce the depression just by getting your sleep better, eating right, and exercising. That's going to
Absolutely.
help you feel better.
That's good. That's real good. I like that. I like that because a lot of people suffer from depression. I mean, that's the number one thing, right? A lot of people suffer from depression, and it locks them down, like they're not functional. And so and then because we're now isolated, like call somebody, talk to another person, like get out of your head. First of all, get out of your head and start thinking of things that you can do, even going outside on your porch and just get some air for a while, just sit there for a while to come out from isolation, because being locked up in your house can trigger your depression.
And so one of the things I want to commend you on, Miss Linda, is that you're doing these things virtually. The more we can figure out things we can do, maybe we can't go out and we can't have a seminar or a conference, but you're doing this virtually. So you're reaching two audiences at once, but you're getting the word out without us seeing each other and being at each other's house, but we're able to do this. The
Absolutely.
people who can figure out how to do this virtually are going to survive. And the rest of us, I don't know what's going to happen. But
But we're gonna bring them all in.
we
We're gonna
going to
bring
bring them
them in.
home,
No,
okay?
nobody left behind. We're all coming.
But I'm telling you, we've got to figure it out. We're
But
figuring
yeah,
it
we'll
out.
figure it out. Absolutely, we'll figure it out because that's the thing is that the whole goal is to let people know that they're not alone. That you're not alone. Here in Chattanooga, we used to have the contact number. And I don't even know if it's still in effect. But we used to have the context of when you were lonely, you needed to speak to someone, you could call 26 contact, and there were counselors on board 24/7 that would talk to you about any program in the world. And this was like years and years and years ago. Maybe
Right.
we need to kick that back up so that people have somebody to talk to when they're isolated at home like this. Maybe that's a thing for somebody to start a business. I'm about the business plug. Some
That's a good idea.
opportunity in everything. I see opportunity in everything, but maybe it's an opportunity for us to have people to talk to, just so we can get out of our head and so we can get out of being isolated from our public and stuff. And so you were talking about things that's going to help us, coping skills. Another thing, because here's what I found in talking to my friend, and she was talking about, people who have skills who are doing good today, who, have six-figure salaries or whatever. And now they're feeling like, okay, what do I do now? Because I've been doing this thing for so long. What happens next? And just learning how to monetize. That's what I've been doing for a lot of a lot of people 50, 60 years old. I've been helping them learn how to monetize what they do know, because like you were saying, we still need knowledge out here. And so we're going to have to help people come along. We're not leaving anybody behind.
Right, right. And we're not, but I'm just saying the technology is here for us to be able to do this. And there's so many people resistant to the technology. And
Yeah.
I'm really making a plug for we've got to use it. It's here and we can use it to do whatever we need to do to get what we need emotionally.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I teach people how to go online and do Zoom calls with their families and do Zoom calls in their businesses and stuff. I've been doing a lot of that lately, just walking them hand by hand. I have a client that's one of my students. She's one of in my classes that she thought she couldn't do social media. She's like, Miss Linda, I'm not good at that. And we were able to get her on. And then I left her alone for a few days because I didn't want to be on her, harassing her. And like she's in her 30s or something. But I left her alone. I gave her the instruction, walked through it with her, told her to write her note. And then when I checked on her 3 days later, I was like, well, I called to see if you still need me to help walk you on because I want you to be able to sign on when the class happens. And she was like, oh, Miss Linda, I done went through the first week. You know? So she was good. She was good. It's not as hard as people think it is. It's not as hard as people making it to be. It's not. And anybody, it's just the matter of somebody having the patience with you and teaching you how to get online so that you can get the information you need. That's all it is. It's just a matter. We all have different learning levels, and just understanding that you may have a different learning level, and you need to have somebody who has patience enough to teach you.
And early in this season, I have to confess, when in March, I was teaching a class and the class went virtual and I wasn't ready with Zoom. I was not. I had to go and finish the class the hard way. And so, and just I don't like that kind of stuff, like not being ready, not being able to do something. So I learned pretty quickly and got with the
Absolutely.
girl. So
Yeah.
we can all learn, and it's
Yeah.
available. So it's not like I knew before this started either. So it was just pretty much new to me as well.
Absolutely. If you're watching this on Facebook or on LinkedIn, you already have skills.
Right.
Like signing on is the hardest part. If you can get the sign on, you'll be mastering it in no time. In no time. And that's the thing is. So if you're watching and you have questions for April, please go ahead and put your questions in so we can see them. But we want to just talk about how what's next. What kind of plans do you have next? Like if God forbid we have to shut the country down again, what are some things she told us? We need to get some rest. We need to eat for our brain. We need to make sure that we're doing things that help our well-being by checking in with our physicians and having them to refer us to professional help if that's what we need. We have to humble ourselves and forgive, right? And we have to ask for forgiveness to get that load off of us because we're carrying a burden that's not rightly ours. Just let it go. Let it go. Live life free. Live life free. And if you get depressed or whatever, go outside. Move. She talked about exercise. Exercise is going to be help us lighten up on some things. So going outside and doing some exercise. Go outside and just walk around the house. That's exercise. Just walk. Just move. Just don't just sit there and waddle in depression or in grief or in any of the things. Deal with it like you said your own way. If you're grieving, then by all means handle your grief your way. But just look forward to on the other side. Just know that it's temporary and it's not going to last always. And that person that you're grieving will be honored by what you do. Set up a foundation in their name. Teach people. Write a book about it. Oh, that's a good thing. Write a book about it and tell people who that fabulous person was. Because if we miss them, we don't need to miss them. We need to actually know what they were like. So write a book about it. Write a journal about it. Put a blog about it. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah, talk about it. Let the rest of the world know how great that person was to you. Because there's so many things going on now and we are losing some very great people. And if you don't tell us, we'll never know who they are. So write about it. Put it in a journal. Make the journal a book. I mean, do it.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because I tell people to do that. I remind people to celebrate their loved ones. Think about what
Absolutely.
they were about and then on their anniversary or their death or their birthday, then celebrate them. Do something that reminds you of them. If
Yeah.
they were in a nursing home, go to a nursing home, send flowers, send cards. If they were just whatever reminds, if they were teachers, do a scholarship in their name, do things that just, like you said, remind you of them, but celebrate on those days.
Absolutely. Honor them.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
a lot of times, even though we're grieving, our loved ones, which we should do, we should all grieve our loved ones. But after the grief, then think about how you can honor them. What honorarium could you put in place for them
Absolutely.
so that the world doesn't miss their greatness?
That's
Because
good.
yeah, because the whole thing about my mom in my being the cover of my book was because people didn't get to meet her. She died at 33, and people never knew her. And so now everybody who reads the book knows about my mom, and talk about how we were alike and things, how we look alike. But yeah, but what is it? You guys who are watching, if you have questions or comments about today's program, you are invited to go ahead and key those in the comments so we can see them. We'll definitely answer your questions um, and listen to your comments. But if you're out there, if you are going through something, April, tell them how can they get in touch with the Sound Living Counseling Center.
So you can call us at 423 762, excuse me, 423 682 7203. That's our phone number. You can also reach us online. We have a Facebook um, page, Sound Living Counseling Center. We also have a website, and it's on Weebly. I might have to check the website, but we do have a website presence as well. So you can reach us on any of those methods, and we'll be happy to hear from you. We're local. We can do anything in Tennessee right now. We're praying that this changes so we can go further than that. We want to go across the world. So if you need me somewhere else, call me. We can come and speak and teach and do some different things besides counsel. Love doing groups and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But yeah, so I will make sure that your contact information is on this post after we're finished. But I thank you for your yes. I thank you for saying yes because it was spur of the moment, and I just wanted to give people hope and to help them to learn that it's temporary. Like whatever you're feeling is temporary. It does get better. It will get better. Hang in there, get professional counseling, get some sleep, eat
Absolutely.
some food, eat the right food, right? Um, Go for a walk, sit on your porch, write about it, you know, trying to give you different ideas of things to do because this is temporary and what you're worried about, everything has a solution. I saw a post and I'm trying to remember who it was that said, you don't have a problem, you have a shortage of solutions. So we're trying to give you some solutions so that you don't stay stuck where you are because I love you. We love you. And we're here because we want to make sure that we give you some things to cope with in this very uncertain time. Everybody's feeling it. We're all in it, but we're going to get through it together. And we get through it by having conversations and by leaning and trusting in each other and just making sure that we're being a resource for those who need help. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you'll hold on, I'll close out. So my name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. And today I am plugging you in to do a mental wellness check-in with a professional very soon. I thank our guests for coming on. If you are needing grants, so this Thursday at 6 o'clock, I am hosting a grant. Let's talk about grants for all types of businesses. A lot of large organizations and corporations and even government is giving out money to help small businesses stay afloat. If that's one of your worries, you'll want to join me on Thursday at 6 o'clock. You can go to Facebook, the event page, and that you'll find all the information there. But I'm going to teach people how to get grants. So those small businesses that are worrying about what's next, I'm going to give you all the things you need in order to put in a grant. And if you need help writing your grant, I'm going to be your resource for that too, because I want to help you move forward. I want to help you put what you need in place so that you can do the things that you need to do for your life. My name is Linda Murray Bullard, and I thank you all for watching. April, will you have one parting remark you want to tell everyone?
Well, make it fun. When we talk about exercising, do something you love doing. If it's fun, you're going to enjoy yourself and then you're going to feel better because you're having fun.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. We'll see you guys next week at 7 o'clock. You all have a great evening.